I'm not sure how to start a vlog video or anything, but I've been thinking about starting some sort of vlog, some sort of videos for a while now. I went through a lot of anxiety and loss in the past year, a little over a year. And I suffered really bad from depression and anxiety when I was 16, I guess was the worst part of it. And for the first time since I was 16, I'm going to be 30 this year, I have dealt with that level of anxiety again. And it's nothing bad that's happening. It's just been a lot of changes in my life. And over the years, I've gone to therapists and, done certain medications and whatever. And I kept questioning if I needed to go back again, obviously, because if I was feeling that bad, something needed to be done. But normally every time I go to a therapist, it's pretty quick that I'm okay and I don't need to go anymore. Usually it's like a handful of appointments and I feel completely cured. I've studied a little bit of psychology, so I feel like that helps me understand sort of how my anxiety works and how my brain works. So I'm sort of able to talk myself out of it, luckily, on my own, which that's not me bragging or anything like that. That's just, I'm a very logical person. So if I can talk it out logically, usually it just kind of fixes itself. And I don't necessarily need someone talking back to me. So I've been thinking about doing YouTube videos for a while and thought maybe it would help if I just sort of had this void to talk to, this sort of world, this YouTube community, to talk about what I've gone through, how I feel. Maybe if I'm having an anxiety attack, I can just talk and, logic myself out of it. And then maybe there's going to be somebody out there who can relate and who it will help. I think mental health is very important, and I think we should keep an open discussion about it. So, if I'm one of a million voices out there blabbing about the same thing, it's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to hurt anybody. Certainly feels like it's going to help me. I feel really good talking right now. And if, like I said, if someone can relate to it, I think it'll be helpful. So I'll talk about a little overview of what I've gone through in the past year. And then maybe in future videos, I can talk about sort of where my anxiety came from when I was younger, how I'm coping with loss and just life in general. I have suffered from obsessive compulsive disorder since I was about 10 or 11. So that sort of really gets overwhelming in times of major change, whether that's a death in the family or, something really positive, which I went through both of those in the past year. In March of 2017, so just a little over a year ago, I lost my grandmother, who was like a mother to me. And we weren't as close as I wish we had been. I wish I'd have spent more time with her. I wish I'd have said more things to her that, I know that she knew, but it would have felt good to say that to her, just to tell her how much she meant to me and how much she did for me. And she was kind of like, she was the matriarch of that side of my family. And a lot of people loved her and depended on her, and she was just an awesome person. And that was the first major loss I've ever really suffered. So that was difficult, and I'm really lucky that that's a big side of my family. I had a lot of family, and we all went through it together. I'm so lucky that I had my husband, because he's the kind of person, he tends to get uncomfortable sometimes about how to, make people feel better, how to help people. And, a lot of people are like that, like crying people make you uncomfortable, or you don't know exactly the words to say. And he could not have been more perfect through that whole situation for me. I mean, it was really hard. So then just going through holidays and birthday and everything without her was really hard. So then after all that pain sort of subsided, what was hard about that loss, besides the loss itself, was that I've also been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder from certain things that I went through in my childhood, which is something I'm more than happy to make a video about in the future. But there are 2 times a year that are really difficult for me mentally, and that I tend to just turn into this numb shell. I tend to disconnect from things. I've been able to do that from a very young age. When you go through sort of traumatic experiences, a lot of people learn how to disconnect and, sort of just keep emotions at bay. So you don't really feel anything. You don't feel happiness. You don't feel sad. You're just kind of this zombie walking around. That's how I felt. Well, her death followed right between my 2 worst times of year, basically. So that would have been my, I guess you could say, like, good time. I guess it's seasonal, like spring is usually a good time of year for me. And so it was hard, just, I came out of one stressful time, then I deal with her passing, and then I go into my next stressful time of the year, which, not every year is like that. It's not like clockwork, but, a lot of times it tends to fall in the winter and the summer. So then my husband and I, in the meantime of all of this, have been house hunting like crazy. We were first-time home buyers, so, it was hard for us to save up money for a down payment, so we went through the whole first-time home buyer THGA system where they assist you with your down payment, which is great, but it's so difficult getting a house. Like, so many people turn down your offers when they see that, because they know that you have to go through a whole separate approval process with that organization that's helping you, which is understandable that they have to approve it, but it's kind of like a big red flag, I guess, when people are getting cash offers or offers with a big down payment or over and above what the asking price is. So we'd been house hunting for a long time. We finally got a house, which we love, and we're so happy there. That took us a while. That was a very frustrating process. My bank was ridiculous. That's a whole other video if anyone wants to hear about that process. And we were finally able to close on our house. Oh, goodness, I guess it was the end of January. Maybe it was in February. It was around February. So we got this great news. We got this awesome house that we loved. And then, beginning the moving process is very stressful. The closing process is very stressful, all of that. And then in February of 2018, I lost another grandmother. I have 3 grandmothers. On my mother's side, she had a mother and a stepmother. So the stepmother was the first one that passed a year ago, and her real mother was the one that passed in February. And that was a shock. My step-grandmother had been sick. She'd had a couple strokes. She was in the hospital. She was in ICU. As painful as it is to see someone go through that, you're expecting it. And it doesn't make it any easier, really, but at least you're expecting it. With my real grandmother, I say real, I don't mean that like my step-grandmother was. She was very dear to me. But my bloodline grandmother was just sick on and off with bronchitis for years. And she was a smoker. She was a chain smoker her whole life. But she was never in the hospital for it, never anything like that. She just the doctors would give her some breathing treatments to do, some medicine to do. She would call me and mention it every once in a while that she had bronchitis again. No big deal. And then one night I got a call that she passed away completely unexpectedly. And she had been very sick that week, apparently. But that was it. I can't explain it, because I'm going through all this loss, this really hard time through a year, and then get this great news of having a house, but then the stress of doing all that, and then to lose another person in my life was just sort of the last straw for me. And I think my brain just couldn't handle it anymore. And that's when the anxiety really, really, really kicked in hard. The thing that was hard for me was that both of my grandmothers were such good people to talk to. My step grandmother who passed a year ago was just, she was the gossip, you know, she was the person that you could call and hear what the latest gossip on everyone in the family was, when you just felt like, it's almost like when you just want to flip through a magazine or watch reality TV or something like that. Like, she just had all that juicy gossip, and it was so, like, just fun to talk to her. And my real grandmother that passed in February was one of those people that if you were just in a really bad mood, which isn't very often for me that I feel like this, but if you just wanted to complain about something, cuss up a storm about something, and you didn't want to hear someone go, oh, it's gonna be okay, blah blah blah, she was a person to talk to. Because if you could call her and say, I can't fucking believe this happened, I've had the worst fucking day at work, she'd be right with you going, I know, fuck that, fuck this, everything fucking sucks. And that doesn't sound like it's that great, but it's kind of, sometimes you need that. Sometimes you just need someone to, like, be pissed off with you, and she was that person. So to lose those two people, probably the only people I still actually talked on the phone to besides my dad and my husband, but you know, like long conversations on the phone and in person, it was hard. It was really hard and really unexpected. And so the past few months since all that, and since we moved into our house, I've just been suffering anxiety attacks. Really bad, not panic attacks, nothing like I feel like I'm having a heart attack or I'm gonna die, just anxiety attacks where it's like my chest gets a little tight, I feel like I want to cry, I feel like I've got a pit in my stomach where something's wrong but nothing's wrong, and you know, I'm having to call my husband and be like, I just need you to tell me everything's gonna be okay right now, I need you to, you know, calm me down so I can get back to work. I mean, this would happen all through work. It was ridiculous and exhausting. I feel like it's getting way better. This week has been better. There's only been, like, I've been waking up with anxiety. That's the hardest part, is waking up, especially like on a weekend when you want to sleep in, and then you wake up at 6 and you've got that horrible feeling in your stomach like something's wrong. So, but this week I feel like I've gotten a lot better. Today even, I didn't feel anxious. Today I felt excited about the thought of filming a video and just talking and seeing what happens. And of course, I find out that my phone stopped recording on me. I don't know why, but yeah, anywho, I thought it'd be fun to talk and just see what happens, see if anyone relates to this. I'm not sure what I said that got cut out, so I'll quickly go over that again. I'm happy to make videos about my past, where my anxiety issues come from, sort of my childhood, what happened there. I have to work on saying so much. I'm happy to tell fun stories. I like watching story time, but I'm not into making like a story time channel. But I've got like a paranormal story I could tell, you know, fun stuff like that. And just sort of vlogging my life maybe. And I'm trying to lose weight as well, so maybe I can vlog some of that, maybe what I'm eating, what I'm trying to do to work out to lose weight. Maybe I can get some tips from people if anyone watches. I think it'd be fun. I just think it would be fun to have this outlet and to see where it goes. So if you want to watch, that'd be great. You can subscribe. If I've actually uploaded this, we'll see. If I edit it and put it up, and I'll just see what the process is. I'll see what it's like, and if I do upload, it's something I'm definitely going to commit to and have a schedule for, so I wouldn't want to be like an inconsistent uploader, because I find that frustrating as a viewer. I totally understand there's a lot behind making videos, so I understand when people have inconsistent schedules, but I like it when I can depend on every Monday a video coming or every Wednesday a video coming. I think it's fun. So if I do upload this and it goes well, I'm not expecting to get anyone from this one video, but maybe I'll continue on a schedule. That would be fun. So if you've watched through to the end, I appreciate it, and you can subscribe if you want to see what I end up doing. You can unsubscribe if you don't end up liking it. That's fine, whatever. But thank you for watching and listening, and I guess I'll see you later.